Okay, so the craziest thing happened to me
Hello, one and all! Welcome to Judson Presents Fandio Mini Masterpiece Presents Wandavision.
today. Are you for real?
I'm your host, Judson, and with me is my very well-informed co-host.
Hi, I'm Alex. Judson, what are you doing?
I'm hosting. Last week, we got a ton of explanations on what Sword is up to and saw that Wanda is in a made-up world of her own creation called the Hex. We're going to be starting at the top of the recap in 3, 2, 1.
Previously on WandaVision, I undusted myself and it got allergies through this whole hospital.
My...
So I do, because we got a couple minutes while they're previously on. I'm gonna ask a silly question. So they do refer to it as dusting because it has that very good visual effect of someone being dusted. How often do you think the occurrence was where someone was like hugging someone, they got dusted, you take a breath in, you breathe in their dust, you have an allergy attack, and that's how you said goodbye to someone before the blip?
Just a whole mouthful of your neighbor, just...
It's awful.
Yeah, that sounds awful. That's definitely not how I would want to go. How many people do you think got vacuumed up in the process? Like you're vacuuming and you just right up in there.
How many people do you think were vacuuming and their vacuum's still running for 5 years because they never were able to turn it off?
I feel like their power bill probably went out at some point.
Don't break my immersion, Judson. You're ruining my joke.
Oh.
There's the Marvel intro that haunts my dreams.
Oh, yeah. Every time I close my eyes, I see the Hulk. But that's separate.
I mean, let's be honest. Who isn't?
Oh, man.
All right.
I can't wait for this episode. It's been a minute since I've seen this one. I mean...
so we're in... Yeah, we're in the 80s now. That's all I was going to say. I was just going to say, it's the 80s. And you know what that means? Crazy hair.
Oh, that's true. She's got the big do.
It's called teased. She teased her hair. It's where you take the brush and just like go back and forth in your hair until it's unbrushed. So my question, it's the 80s. Do you think we'll see a mullet?
I mean, we've got to see a mullet. It's the 80s. It's either now or the 80s. Those are the two peak mullet times. They look like they're walking around with maracas dancing with each other.
Yeah, Whoa. Do not treat a baby like a maraca. I'm throwing that one out there right now. That is not safe baby handling.
What about a marimba? Can I treat a baby like a marimba?
As I don't know, as the instrument or like the hammer. No, either way, no. Hold on. So for context in the episode right now, they're trying to put the babies to sleep. And these are babies. And if you know anything about babies in sitcoms trying to go to sleep, they're not gonna.
Oh, yeah. And it looks like she's got no control over them, which is like a first for this environment. Right.
Oh, no, that's her straight up comment. She's like, why aren't you doing what I say? Everyone else does what I say. Why not you, my children? And mothers, am I right?
That was hilarious. Him sticking both of the binkies in his ears.
Those don't go there. Is noise canceling not their primary function?
Classic. It's got some really great 80s comedy here with the like visual gags and stuff. The loving family is also like a big, consistent too.
Yeah. So for this one, we're doing like Family Ties, Growing Pains, Roseanne, Full House. Like those are the big 80s and like early 90s ones. And one of the things that you'll see in the 80s versus earlier is you can see kind of the changing in what the sitcom's jokes and themes are. And it, like all through, like the furniture's different, the clothing's different, the hair's different, sure. But like if you look at the way Agnes is moving with her hands on her hips and the extra sass in her walk, because Agnes has shown up to try to help with the babies, like they're moving in a completely different way as she was moving in the 50s where her hands were more in front of her. And you see a lot of that go through.
Yeah, she looks like she's really about to go jazzercise right now.
she was going to aerobics, and I'll get in that actually in a bit, because this scene's really cool, because Agnes is like, hey, let me hold the babies and I'll rock him. And Vision's like, I don't know if I trust you to hold my babies. And Agnes just breaks character and starts talking to Wanda. He's like, hey, do we want to take this scene from the top? And like the like laugh track cuts out, and it's this very tense scene where they're like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, like you want me to hold the babies. So you want to just shoot this whole scene again? And then they like kind of like correct the scene, like, no, no, Agnes, you can hold the babies, and the laugh track comes back in. But it's again like one of those, like when Agnes is being Agnes in the 80s sitcom, she's talking different than when she's like, hey, do you want me to take this scene from the top? Like we're off our lines. But also this is the first time we've seen a character break character outside of like WandaVision and like Geraldine being ejected and becoming Monica.
Yeah, so
And
her
so, you know,
allowing Agnes to do that sets such like an interesting precedent for here, and also creates so much like mystery around Agnes's character, who's been like kind of skating around. I mean, she's been really prevalent, but I feel like this is one of the moments that's really like a head turner for the audience.
oh yeah, and I'll say that my I like this bit too because you know Vision's immediately like, "Hey, this is crazy, right?" And Wanda's like, "No, you're crazy for thinking this is crazy, my gaslight queen."
She is the queen of gaslighting. She's gaslighting this entire town into thinking it's a different decade. She is the ultimate. She is the final boss of girl bosses.
So I like here Agnes is in the kitchen, like they're having this argument, and they hear Agnes in the kitchen clanking around. And like, "Hey, what are you doing?" She's like, "Well, I'm looking for your dark liquor." And they're like, What do you mean?" And she's like, "It's not for me. What kind of babysitter do you think I am? It's for the twins." And I love that old timey medicine because next she'll be like, "Oh, it's okay, Wanda. They just had ghosts in their blood, so I gave them a bit of cocaine."
Cocaine and morphine. They balance each other out. I got it in everything. Oh, those are full grown
Yeah,
kids.
those are they're like, oh man. Oh, so I'm saying at
Oh,
this
she's
point,
drinking the brown liquor
yeah,
now?
she's drinking the brown liquor and she's saying, kids, you can't control them. And I'm saying, people at home, put a pin in this scene right here where she's taking that sip. I'm going to call back to this scene later in the future. I will be saying, hey, remember this pin I put in to Agnes drinking in the 80s and like saying, kids, you can't control them. This is a heavy line and it's not heavy yet. And
Oh,
one day it will be. And I'm just going to need
oh.
you to trust me on that.
I love this art. This is very reminiscent of another show. Do you know what this one's a reference to?
Um, Not off the top of my head, but I can tell you it's probably Family Ties, Growing Pains, or Full House, one of the three, because
I
those were the
think it's
big three.
Family Ties, but I'm not sure.
Be- this I'm ashamed to admit, 80s sitcoms were not my heyday because I was of the generation where I was either watching 90s sitcoms or they came out, or the reruns were of like 70s and 60s sitcoms. But like the 80s are kind of like a lost generation of sitcoms for me.
God,
And I think
seeing
also it's
um,
seeing Vision in a turkey costume.
honestly, seeing Vision as a child with a beret fits very well. Weirdly enough, the beret is a great look on that. Also, this like filling in all of these like photos in history that did not happen with the
Yeah.
child because we just saw them grow up at this rapid pace is like fascinating.
Wanda was just really upset that they grew up before she could get pictures of them. Oh, see, but this is I like that that one scene where they're blowing one, two, three, four, and five of the candles out at the same time because they just aged.
Oh
Hey,
man.
but as they're making it up because they've got love, and that's actually the main theming of WandaVision. Anything's possible through the power of love.
Man, imagine taking the time to get your family like painted with 2 5-year-olds. What a nightmare that must be. Because like it's hard to even just get them to sit still for a photo, let alone a full painting.
Well,
Oh, we're
that's why the
back
doctor
in
took
the real
prescribed the
world.
morphine.
Oh,
Oh yeah, so we've got Monica's waking up, and she's like describing what it felt like to be under Wanda's influence, and it's like this hopeless feeling, and she actually calls it out as being like grief. And this ends up being one of the themes we'll see in this kind of like 4, 5, and 6, that phase of the Marvel films. We see a lot of things dealing with different types of mental illness and grief and how we process it. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier did that and explores a lot of how people adjusted to life after the blip. You have Thor, Love and Thunder, which, while very not a very well received film, it's one of its big messaging was trying to show how people cope with extreme loss and grief, and
hmm.
how depression can sometimes be how we sometimes use comedy to mask our depression. And like Thunderbolts, the literal villain is bipolar disorder. And like that, like, and helping someone deal with their own depression and feelings of isolation and loneliness. uh but also, so that's what they're doing, and they're getting ready to go through a briefing. And I do love that Darcy goes, pants are recommended but not required, and that's how I like my briefings. Pants optional.
I'm
Same
gonna
with
get
my
onto the
debriefing.
video. Full suit jacket and everything, no pants, tidy whities below. Just I cannot stand up during this video call.
Right. So they're giving like the info dump of Wanda's past of like, here's where she was radicalized, here's how she fought against the Avengers, and like we get her full history through the MCU, so anyone who's watching the show at this point like can get caught up and it's like, oh yeah, she fought against the Avengers, but then she was an Avenger. But one of the interesting parts of this scene is you'll have Darcy, Monica, and Agent Wu arguing on Wanda's side against the sword representative Hayward, and they kind of represent these two viewpoints of how you see Wanda's actions, because like we know through context that Wanda was an Avenger who did good things, but if you just watch the things that actually happen, she is a villain in a movie, and then in Civil War she accidentally blows up a big enough building that it creates the Civil War plotline that ends up with everyone fighting and all the Avengers breaking up, which like leads on. So I had a point and I think I just lost it. Judson, save me here.
Yeah, no, I think really what you're going for here is that it shows the opposing viewpoints of people who actually know what's going on versus the public's perception of Wanda, where Sword kind of fills in as that public perception. And like
Right.
it is a tough spot to be at. He sees her as a villain, as a weapon, while they're trying to figure out like what's going on with her. Why is this incredibly powerful and like altruistic, ultimately character like toying with these other human beings and creating a false reality?
Thank you, because you brought me back, because the big ending point I was trying to get to that I felt was super deep and cool, I really wanted to say, is this is also representative of how the audience should be viewing Wanda and how they will be and are viewing Wanda. Because we see Wanda through Monica and that team's perspective, because we see Wanda as a hero. That's what the fans are just going to do. But again, Hayward's point is what we see from the films. Like, if you just take the objective truth of all we see without the context and deeper information that we're able to glean through the storytelling, but just the movies as seen, Hayward's opinion kind of should be the audience's. And I like how they have these people watching WandaVision and your audience surrogate is arguing with your audience surrogate.
Oh man, it's great. It's a really great setup. Let's see.
Also, I love just some things I do like from the scene. I'm just gonna throw out. She's like, he goes in the beginning. He's like, we thought Wanda was a victim, but now we know she's the principal victimizer. And I think that would be a great song.
The principal victimizer. That is pretty good. I'm going to victimize this principal. I'm going to spray paint all over his car.
No, I TP'd his trees.
He'll never be able to deal with that.
All right, so the briefing's done. We can go back to actual WandaVision, and that's what we're here for, the sitcom. You've got Tommy and Billy.
Ooh,
They're at a
what's
sink.
in the sink? What's in the sink?
Dog. It's so we know, because they're talking. It's like, we have to wash him or she won't let us keep him. And they're like, what what are you hiding? And the dog sneezes, and they're like, bless you. And then the dog barks, and she's like, which one of you barked? And she scoots him out of the way. And like, the comedy here is top line. It's actually like, these kids are pretty good for 5-year-old actors, but they did give, I think it's Tommy. They gave Tommy the killer joke, because she goes, waiter, what's the canine doing in my sink? And he just goes, the doggy paddle. And it's so good.
What a cute dog. Do you think that's like a Morkie or something?
So the question is, oh God, is that a Pekingese? I don't know my dog. I will say that's not a lab. I'm going to be controversial. That is the dog that several members of my extended family would just refer to as a large rat.
That is fair. That is fair. Oh.
Which, to be fair, they also classified most cats as large rats, and which I don't. For the record, I love cats. Also, I'm gonna say, overall, rats can be okay. I'm not gonna just throw out an anti-rat stance right now. I think that's important. And so the nice part is Vision comes to join him. He's like, "Oh, you have a dog," and he's already done in his human Vision getup. And Wanda goes, "Why are you done like this?" And he just kind of like implies like someone's gonna show up, and Agnes comes through the door with a doghouse,
Yeah, she
just
already
butting in
knows
on
the
every scene
script.
like a good neighbor.
Oh, Sparky, so clever.
And so Wanda like summons that caller right in front of Agnes, and they get into this argument about it, which is pretty cool because one, it shows that she doesn't have complete control over Vision because Vision's able to push back against it to argue. But also, they're arguing now, and it's the 80s. And in the 80s, you start having the couples in sitcoms aren't always going to get along. Like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, your romantic couple who has like kids in the suburbs are just a strong, loving relationship. But like in the 80s, you start actually seeing kind of more dysfunction in the families, even your functional ones. And that's like an intentional tone they've put into this episode, and why they chose to do it in the 80s is because they can start having Wanda and Vision argue, and it fit the changing of the sitcom decades.
Oh yeah, it's also a good opportunity for us to continue exploring Vision becoming aware of the fact that he's, being puppeted through this world.
And I do
He
love
keeps on
that.
getting closer and closer to it and then pushing away, but he seems to be getting more and more pushback as time is going on.
Yeah, and so at the end of the argument, they agree to tell the kids that they can't have a dog until they're 10. So the kids age up to 10. And we cut back to the camp, and you've got Jimmy Woo and his Jimmy Choos getting his 3 Starbies to his girlies for a morning yap session before the next debriefing.
Oh my god, it is Jimmy Choo's. What a missed opportunity for product placement there.
And so here's the thing. So she's going through like, I need to like create this crazy bomb shelter on wheels to get back into the hex. And she drops this line, I know an aerospace engineer for this. And the internet starts going wild because we're like, do you think it's Mr. Fantastic? Who do you think it is? Do you think it's like the guy from Captain Marvel? And if I remember right, it ends up being just nobody, just her. It's just a throwaway line to say she knows someone who could build something, but just the internet assumed it was going to be this crazy cameo because it's been cameo after cameo here. And so like you're just starting to get ready for cameos, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, no. I mean that's really funny. It also kind of leads into that whole idea of like everything being a conspiracy, which with this show being a mystery and it unfolding in front of us, like slowly giving out information, it's not surprising that people are already primed for that.
Right. And so here Darcy starts calling the Maximoff anomaly, which is the hex grid, the hex. She says it sounds cool and she wants people to call it the hex, and it's catching on. But then Jimmy asks, who are these kids though? Like, whose kids are these? And Monica's like, no, those are Wanda's kids. Like, I know, like, from your angle, you didn't see it, but like, I pulled those out of her. Those are her kids. And then, but they're also going into how that's crazily different from what we know about Wanda's powers. And this is something that like actually happens both in the MCU and in the comics, because in the MCU her original power wasn't reality warping either. It was just probability manipulation. She could just make you have really bad luck.
Hmm.
And
That's really
so
neat. Kind of like that
uh
character from Deadpool 2.
yes, who has really good luck, a Domino. But they're going into the lab where her pants are. And she's like, wait a second. And she's looking at the analysis of those pants. And she pulls the gun. And Monica shoots her pants because she was tired of being a fashion dome. And you
Oh
see that
my god.
the that fish print? It's like shooting fish on a pants. This is how Project Runway is judged in America.
Oh. And the bullet's just flattened.
Right, because she was wearing a Kevlar vest going in. And it's now like those pants and that outfit she was wearing is like 81% Kevlar. So everything that she had worn while she was Geraldine was Kevlar and bulletproof because Wanda rewrote the clothes. And that's like, they realized that that's one, a crazy level of power for Wanda. But Monica asked the question, what if we send something into Wandavision show that she doesn't have to change? And we kind of cut
Ooh.
away, and now we're back to Vision here, who's at his office with his I'm going to say those look like IBMs to me. It's the 80s. It has to be an IBM in an office.
Yeah, it's something really neat about this scene is you can see in the color grading, the way that there's like a little bit of blurriness to it. It's almost like it's being shot on VHS and presented, as it would be at the time. It creates a really nice like visual effect.
And so, yeah, it is a nice effect. And so they're going in to the internet, and we're getting some classic I don't know technology jokes. He's like, "We've got an email," and he's pulling out a letter opener. Well, I need a letter opener to open this email. And it goes, and so Vision now sees a sword communication, and it's Darcy Lewis's findings regarding the Maximoff anomaly, and everyone around him is reading this email in unison, just speaking it. And then at the
Oh,
end, they all start laughing, and Norm hits Vision with, "Hey, what are we gonna write back? You're the office funny guy, and this is clearly a joke." But I don't think Vision's buying that this is a joke. And Vision then takes the computer, and I think he's kind of like pulling that like outside connection, because you see the yellow around his fingers, and then he doesn't move him, and he puts him against Norm's head, and he manages to break through Wanda's control. And Norm, like, the scene changes again. We get the loss of the sitcom music and laugh track, and Norm is looking for his phone, and then is begging for help. He needs to call his family and saying that, "I need help. Wanda is not letting us leave. You need to stop her." Though he doesn't say Wanda's name, so Vision doesn't know what's going on, just that something's in Norm's head, and that Norm is in incredible pain, and he's begging, because he's just begging, "Stop, stop." And Vision then puts him back, and then Norm, like a switch, just changes and gives the corniest joke. "If I sent an email, where would I put a stamp?"
man, the ethics of returning him to being entirely out of control is insane. But again,
Well,
like it feeds into this whole thing that Vision's struggling with. And I'm wondering when he's going to remember that, he's dead.
I, but does he
How is
even
he able to
know?
access his powers without having the Mind Stone anymore?
Well, so you know what? I'm gonna say spoilers. Let's talk about this again in 3 episodes, Judson.
All
There's
right,
an
that
actual
works.
answer to your question, but like for those at home who might be watching and might actively get spoiled too early, there is an answer to that. But yeah, good. You're asking the right questions, kid. You're gonna make it far in this agency.
All right. So what are they talking about?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm so sorry. I forgot they were talking. So, this is the crazy bit, because she's like, "Hey," they're like, they're showing Wanda the tricks they've learned the dog, and they're like, "Let's show Dad." And Wanda goes, "Oh, he's at work," and they just hit him with, "But it's Saturday," and she's like, "No, it isn't." They're like, "No, it's Saturday." And Wanda realizes it is Saturday, which honestly means that Wanda made everyone in that office go work a full day, probably unpaid, on a Saturday, meaning she is the true villain of this series.
Ooh, and now they're talking about her brother, Quicksilver. Ah,
Yeah, and she's like, "Did you have a brother?" And she's like, "Yeah, I did have a brother, and he's far away, and I don't see him a lot." And they're really starting to feel about like how she's feeling about losing her brother, when Sparky goes to the door, and Wanda kind of looks off into the middle distance for a second and tells the kids to stay there, and she steps outside, and like we get this weird framing of like there's clearly like she's going outside to look at something, and we don't get to see what it is until we move to what we now see as this drone flying in.
ooh, and this one hasn't been affected by the environment the way the other one was and converted to something that's more consistent with the era they're in.
Right, because it's a 1980s drone. And that's why, like, if you look in their picture that they're watching through the drone is so poor. And so they have their picture of the drone, but they can also watch the WandaVision scene where she is keeping all of the framing of WandaVision with the drone out of it. Because, like, she's able to edit the camera angles WandaVision is viewed at.
I didn't realize they had drones in the 80s. That's pretty neat. Although that recording doesn't look like it's an 80s one.
Well, no, I assume that recording was shot in about 2019 or 2020 when they recorded this show.
Yeah, they've just been very consistent to have, environmentally consistent recordings.
Um, yeah, I think the difference here is like the recording still being played through a modern monitor here, so it's still got that new layer of technology on the shield end, which is where we're seeing the recording. And I think if it was seen through WandaVision, it would.
Ooh, they've got a
But then,
breach in the system. Is
yeah,
somebody else
they got
getting
a breach
launched
in the
out?
system. Yeah, no, this is my favorite part, because like they call for a drone strike on Wanda. Like they go full US Gov. They say, "Drone strike that Wanda. I don't care that this is a civilian place." And so Wanda just grabs the drone and she just walks out of the grid, dragging that drone like she's a cat who just killed a mouse, and she's bringing it back to you. And like
Oh, she's
and
pissed.
oh, and she's back in her normal Wanda uniform, which we also know at this point it gets covered in the debriefing that she doesn't have a superhero name. She's just Wanda. And I'm gonna say, what do you do? Your cat comes home and drags the drone it just struck out of the sky. I'd leave.
The
I'd find a
missile
new
was a
home.
precaution. What an American thing to say.
Right. I like how they've got like at least 16 like different laser points guns on her. And that's just the ones with laser pointers.
Right, right.
And
What a
she's giving
great
him an
threat,
ultimatum.
though.
Yeah, she's just giving him the ultimatum. Leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. And he's like, "You're terrorizing these people." And she's like, "You're terrorizing me." But this is where Monica steps over to Wanda and brings up a very good point. She's like, "Hey, you let me into your house. You're a telepath. You knew at some level I was a shield agent, and you brought me into your house and let me deliver your babies. So at some level, you know I am your ally. Let me help you." And I think like that's very true because Wanda can see in everyone's mind to that level. And she did pull Geraldine in until making Geraldine leave and become Monica. But Wanda just reveals to Monica, "Hey, I have what I want. I've got my family and no one's going to take it from me. So go away."
Yeah, let me
And then
stay in my fantasy.
and I love that she uses her powers and she like snaps her fingers, turns and walks away, and everyone points their guns at him.
Yeah, just so that he can feel what it's like to be covered in the beads, even if they're not going to shoot, which is the same situation she was just in.
Oh, yeah. Also, I like that she touches the anomaly, the hex, and it's now slowly becoming the scarlet color.
Ooh, it's
Yeah.
all about branding, you know? She's
Well,
not
I
trying
mean,
to hide anymore. They know, she knows that they know, so why bother? Ooh, more Scarlet.
oh, so this is a fun one. So this is a commercial for Lagos brand paper towels. And I've got exactly a commercial's length to explain why this is fun. So Lagos is the place that Wanda accidentally created a big explosion trying to stop someone from releasing a neurological violence virus on a large population. But then the explosion was seen as a big enough like bad act on its own that it caused civil war, which split up the Avengers, which is why they weren't together in Infinity War to stop Thanos, which is why she had to kill Vision, which is why Lagos is the big oops she wishes she could clean up in the spill, because we also know now that these commercials are all through Wanda. All right, and now we are back, and they're looking for Sparky. Hoof.
Aw, poor little dog's gone missing. Classic little story to be participating in, too. Oh, no, just
Uh-oh.
Agnes. Oh,
Agnes holding a towel, saying she didn't want to come over till he's wrapped up, and she found him in the azalea bushes, which meant uh, Sparky ate some leaves, and he's not a very big dog, so Sparky unfortunately does pass away. And you know, this is rough because you have the kids here, and their first thing is kind of like they're really sad, and Wanda is like, "Hey, don't age yourself up to escape this." And then they kind of counter with, "Well, Mom, you can do anything. Just fix the dead. Bring the dead back." And like, that hurts because Wanda one has in her mind, she has brought the dead back. It's Vision in this weird way that we don't know how. But we also know if she could just bring the dead back without any stipulation and do it kind of at will, she wouldn't have a dead brother right now. And so
yeah.
she's kind of here and now
And you
having
can
to
see
explain
that,
to these
like,
kids.
Agnes is confused because she's like, whoa, are you that powerful? Can you actually bring people back from the dead?
Agnes is like, "Oh, I like how it's like you can't run from your problems," and Agnes gives a shrug. She's like, "Actually, no, I don't know. Running from some problems and also aging up the kids was kind of nice. They were crying a lot in that first scene."
Oh,
But and also throwing the family is forever. He's family. Bring him back. Like,
what a
ooh,
difficult
and because
position to
like
be in here. Because, like,
yeah,
from like a moral sense for her, she's got to be struggling with, like, obviously she wants to do the nice thing for the kids and make them happy and everything, but also if she is doing this, then she's entirely like ruining their perception of the world and how they can approach things. So like it's kind of a catch-22 of being a mom.
So the question is that someone's dog, or did Wanda make that dog?
Ooh, that's a good point.
All right, so and now we're getting a classic 80s ending of a sitcom. They're like washing up, putting away the kids' toys, and Vision's washing his hands, doesn't look at her, and kind of hits her with, "Hey, I talked to Norm today." And so, like, when this scene was being scripted, this ending scene we have here, the writer initially just wrote a sitcom scene. He said, I wanted a very grounded argument between a wife who is clearly hiding something and a husband trying to get it out of her. And he wrote the scene, and then he went back and, like, made it a superhero. So, like, instead of slamming the door, she, like, will roll a credit. And instead of them, like, slamming their fists on the table, they fly into the air and stuff like that. But what we're getting here is Wanda, like, trying to deny what is going on. And Vision's like, hey, you can't control me the way you do then. We have to talk. And Wanda goes, oh, can't I control you? And she just plays the credits. And that's Wanda's new superpower, playing the credits to end an episode. Absolute diva. But Vision's not having it.
God, what a power move just to end the episode on the other person. Like, you can't do that. You can't just end the conversation.
You can't just call credits mid-argument. And so I like that they like rip the they rip the credits, and he goes into the other room as Vision, and they start like actually yelling. And this is where I'm saying they're like flying. And he's like, don't lie to me. And for me, the like this scene is great, both of their acting, but it's where Vision here reveals that he doesn't know anything of who he was before Westfield. He has no memories before Westfield. And like the way he just hits her with, I'm scared, Wanda. One, the delivery is chilling, but also Paul wrote that line in. The actor added that line in, and like it just sells the scene for me too, because like he goes, I'm scared, and you can see on her face just him being scared changes her wanting to even be in an argument, because she can see how like terrified the person she loves is. And so like Vision's still like trying to get the answers. Like, hey, I go into work every day and there are no children in the playground. The only children I have seen are Billy and Tommy. Where are all the children? And so, Wanda's still going, hey, do you really think I'm doing this? I control everyone in Westfield. And she's like, at some level, we kind of know she's gaslighting him, but then she admits that she doesn't know how this started, and it does seem at some level that she isn't at least consciously controlling everything, because Vision hits her with what you're doing is wrong, and the doorbell rings, which breaks up their discussion. And she's trying to tell him, I'm not ringing that doorbell. And he knows she's controlling this at some level, so he can't believe her. And like, but I do believe at this point that Wanda is being very sincere, that yes, she might have created this, but there's a difference between creating something and controlling something. And that's what she's learning with her children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just really curious who's on the other side of the door here.
Oh yeah,
she isn't controlling it.
She opens the door and she's shocked. And everyone, we don't get to see, because they milk this for like 3 minutes. We go back to the sword camp. Everyone's gathering around the WandaVision televisions to see who it is. And we see silver hair.
Is this my boy? Is this time in a bottle? The greatest scene from any Marvel shot ever?
Yes. And so it's Evan Peters, famous for playing Quicksilver in the Fox films, who hits her with, hey, sis. And the last words of the episode are, they recast Pietro, said by Darcy before the episode ends. And let me tell you how much the internet went insane, because, like, Quicksilver's back, but also it's the Quicksilver everyone liked the adaptation of more. And it has nothing to do with the actor and everything to do with how the character was used. I want that very clear. But, like, he got to be the cool Quicksilver, and now he's here. and it's just who's that popsicle, he says, and the episode ends. I'm sorry, I lied. That was the last line of the episode.
Yeah, that was a really good episode.
Yeah, very fun, Judson. I had a great time. Maybe next time I'll host.
We'll see.
I'm being serious.
And I'm telling our audience at home to like, follow, and subscribe so they don't miss me hosting the next episode. This was Judson Presents Fandio Presents WandaVision Episode 5. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.